You ever hear someone say, just my 2 cents, or I might be wrong, but, and think to yourself, why are they apologizing for speaking? It's like starting a sentence by saying, I know this sounds dumb. Well, here's the truth. Most of us use these little phrases to be polite, but sometimes they make us sound insecure or unsure, even when we know exactly what we're talking about. It's just like this bow tie. If I keep adjusting it too much, it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. But if I tie it straight and then let it be, boom, confidence. Stick around, because today we are cutting out the self-sabotage. We're going to look at a few common phrases that weaken your English, and I'll show you what to say instead to sound clear and confident and professional. And at the end, we'll break down one of my favorite idioms that perfectly captures what happens when we let these habits sneak in. Oh, and if you've got a phrase you're not sure about, drop it in the chat. I might be able to answer it live at the end. So let's get into it. Let me tell you about Amy. She is a team leader at a marketing firm in Taipei. Her English skills are solid. Her reports, great. But in meetings, she kept saying things like, this might be a stupid idea, but, or I'm not sure if this makes sense. So one day her manager said, Amy, your ideas are good, but you sound like you don't believe in them yourself. Ouch. That was the moment that she realized it wasn't her English level, it was her English habits. So we worked on cutting out weak phrases and replacing them with strong, clear language. And 2 months later, she led a pitch that won a 6-month contract for her company. Her manager said, wow, same brain, great ideas, but a totally new presence. So, what changed? I don't know. No, I do know. Let's break it down with what happened. All right. We're going to look at 5 common phrases that actually make you sound less confident in English, and what you can say instead to sound more like a leader. Now, this topic matters because, well, it matters a lot more than you think, because we're not just talking about grammar or vocabulary, we're talking about perception. The phrases you use signal how you see yourself. Do you sound hesitant or unsure, apologetic? Even if your ideas are strong, that tone can cause people to tune out. And you don't want that. But with a few small changes, you can shift how others respond to you. You'll sound clearer, you'll be more credible, and much more respected. And that's the kind of English that opens doors for you. So let's jump in with phrase number 1. Do you ever hear someone say, I think maybe we could something? This is a classic. It's soft, it's polite, but it's also totally forgettable. Imagine that you're in a meeting and someone says, I think maybe we could try targeting younger users? The idea might be brilliant, but the way it's phrased, it sounds like the speaker isn't confident. Most people will overlook it It sounds like a suggestion that even the speaker doesn't fully believe. Did you hear how I said it with the raising intonation? Maybe we could try targeting younger users? It's a question. It doesn't really work, does it? So, now picture this. One opinion or one option, not opinion, one option is to focus on younger users for our next campaign. It's basically the same idea, right? But it's a totally different impact. People hear it. They take it seriously. Why? Because it sounds like it belongs in the room, like it deserves to be discussed. Now here's the thing. When you remove the extra hesitation, people stop trying to read between the lines to figure out if you're unsure. They just they just hear the idea. It's clear, it's calm, and solid. So instead, you can always try one option is, or let's consider. These phrases have a way to say, I've thought this through. They still leave space for collaboration, but they show you're not afraid to lead. And when you speak with that kind of quiet authority, people want to be involved. Let's get into phrase number 2. I'm not sure if this is right. I'm not sure if this is right, but this tells people to ignore your ideas before you even share it. Imagine this. You're in a brainstorming session. And you say, I'm not sure if this is right, but maybe we should review our user onboarding flow, right? And instantly the room thinks, if they're unsure, this probably isn't even worth discussing. So try this instead. Here's something to explore. Here's something to explore. What if we reviewed our user onboarding flow? That change doesn't demand agreement. You're not making someone do what you want. It's inviting curiosity, and that is the goal. To open a door without making yourself seem smaller. When you frame an idea as something worth exploring, you're not just something worth exploring and not something that you're already backing away from. It gives people the room to think without writing you off. Okay? So yeah, try, here's something to explore. Or let's take a look at this angle. It keeps you curious and not apologetic. I'm not sure if this is right, doesn't work. And it keeps your idea alive long enough to spark some real discussion. Okay. Phrase number 3. This might be a stupid question. Well, first of all, that's wrong because there are no stupid questions. This one actually shows up way too often. I hear it in meetings and things like that all the time. And it always does more harm than good. Imagine that you were in a meeting and someone says, well, this might be a stupid question, but how does this connect to our Q2 goals? Now, even if the question is important, starting that way tells everyone, you probably shouldn't take this seriously. So, what's a better version? Quick question. How does this connect to our Q2 goals? Suddenly the room's listening. The question is clear and it's focused. It's respectful. The truth is, if you're wondering about something, others probably are too. And by asking it directly, you give everyone permission to think critically and stay engaged. So instead of saying, this might be a stupid question, acknowledge that it's a question. Quick question. You can try that. Or, can I ask something here? It keeps the tone open and confident and still respectful without actually shrinking your voice. Phrase number 4. I hear this all the time. Sorry, but I just wanted to say. Sorry? Another one is I just wanted to say. Just and sorry are like little verbal speed bumps. They slow you down and make your message sound weaker. Imagine you're in a discussion and you say, "Sorry, I just wanted to say I agree with your point." Well, then what are you actually apologizing for? Agreeing? Now, try this. "I'd like to add that I agree with your point." See that? It's simple, it's clear, it's professional, and no one is left wondering why you're saying sorry. Here's the thing. Constantly apologizing, even casually, can signal that you think you're interrupting or you don't deserve space in the conversation. But you do. So you can say, "I'd like to add," or "Here's another point to consider." Get to the point with clarity and respect, and you'll sound more confident, and your ideas will get the attention they deserve. Try it. Now, phrase number 5, our last one. Does that make sense? I'm guilty of this one too. I say it not very often, but probably at least once a week. So this one actually feels polite, but it can actually undercut your credibility. Imagine wrapping up your explanation in a meeting and saying, "So, does that make sense?" It sounds like you're unsure that you made your point clearly. Or worse, that you're questioning your listener's ability to follow. That's kind of insulting, don't you think? So here's some better options. How about this? "Let me know if you have any questions about that." Now you're respecting their opinions. It sends a different message. It says, "I trust that I said was clear. What I said was clear. But I'm here if you need more." Now that's professional and it's confident. You can also say, "Happy to clarify anything," which is both open and respectful. So, what does that mean? These phrases, instead of making you, there's a bug. These phrases shift the focus from your doubt to the listener's needs, and that's exactly where it should be. I also like, one of my favorite things to ask, instead of saying, "Let me know if you have any questions," open it up. If you want people to ask questions, use an open-ended question like, "I know I just covered a lot of information, so what questions can I answer for you?" It's open-ended, and you're going to get the kind of questions that you want. All right, let's give a quick recap. We want to avoid over-apologizing. Don't discount your own ideas. Speak like you believe what you're saying. Okay, these are not grammar tips. They're power moves. They're small changes that make a big difference. You don't need to overhaul your whole vocabulary. Just be a little more intentional. Drop the habits that make you sound unsure. Choose words that show confidence, even if you're still learning, because the way you say things shapes how people see you. So, the next time you're about to say, "Sorry, I just wanted to ask," pause, take a deep breath, and say it like your voice matters. Because it does. So, I'm getting ahead of myself. We gotta do the challenge. All right, your mission this weekend or this week. Choose one phrase to stop using. Okay, replace that with one of the stronger options that we talked about. Use it in a meeting, in an email, in a coffee chat, and then watch how people respond. And if today's episode gave you something new to try, hit the like button, subscribe, and check out the full article at allaboutenglishmastery.com. The link is in the description. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter when you're there. It's free, and packed with weekly tips you can actually use. And also, if there's a phrase you've been wondering about, or you're not sure how to sound more confident in a specific situation, drop your question in the chat. I see I've already got a couple in there. And I'll stick around after the Mastery Minute to answer a few live. And speaking of the Mastery Minute, now it's time for the Mastery Minute. And today's idiom is shoot yourself in the foot. What? That's a little crazy. Really, it's a little crazy. Who would shoot themselves in the foot? Let's take a look at it. Where does this come from? It actually comes from wartime. In the early 1900s and later, some soldiers would literally shoot themselves in the foot to avoid being sent to battle. And it worked, but it had a cost. They were injured and usually punished. So the phrase came to mean hurting yourself while trying to avoid something uncomfortable. Or you could say it means doing something that accidentally hurts your own success, like making a mistake that creates problems for yourself. For example, Amy had great ideas, but every time she said, "This might be a stupid idea," question, or "This might be a stupid question," she was shooting herself in the foot. She made her audience doubt her before they even heard the question. So, this week, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Speak with intention, speak with confidence, and let your English do its job, helping people hear what you actually mean. All right. And next Monday, we are going to explore something fun and practical. Daily English challenges. If you've ever wondered how to stay consistent to keep things interesting and actually improve a little each day, this one is for you. Okay, I'm going to say thanks for joining me on 15-Minute Mastery. I am Dennis Wilborn, reminding you that confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up with strength every single day. So keep showing up, keep speaking up, and I'll see you next time.